You watch this extremely closely.
Yep.
This has huge implications for the consumer, whether or not we're going to be able to actually cut the cord, or will the Supreme Court allow that? Will we be able to walk around with our cell phones and live network streaming television?
Well, we can already do that, but the difference is that the networks now have control over their intellectual property. Well, with Aereo, they're essentially setting up these tiny transmitters all over the place, and without the consent of the content producers, the IP holders, redistributing this content to the consumers and monetizing it. So it almost dates back to the Napster era of, completely losing copyright for music holders. And if the Supreme Court allows Aereo to continue doing business the way it's doing right now, it really can change the game, because all of a sudden TV companies need to question, should I be investing in content if I can't even control how it's going to be distributed and who's going to see it?
I mean, Scott, could potentially a game changer for the consumer, a game changer for network television. And it was just 2 years ago that this company, they started in New York offering 28 channels and also cloud DVR storage for $8 a month. I mean, we're talking about a game changer.
It's pretty awesome. I mean, if you looked at your cable bill lately, they're ridiculously high, and that's even before this Comcast and Time Warner merger goes through, which is going to totally hurt the consumer, in my opinion. So, yeah, I mean, to the point that was made earlier, this is distribution, right? And I think Jeff mentioned, his 22-year-old nephew. I mean, that dude is probably one of the perfect guys in the demographic that's going to be appealing, or that Aereo's appealing to here, and that's exactly what they want, right? Like, this is the demographic. This is the group, the 22 to 50 or so of the people that are going to walk around and watch this stuff on their device versus sit down on their couch and turn on their television.
But it's not about if consumers want it or not. I mean, consumers want free stuff, and they want it anywhere and everywhere. It's about the companies that are spending the money on producing the content. How do they protect their business?
Well, if you're getting in front of those consumers.
Yeah.
Jeff, your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, somebody's got paid for it. I think the Napster analogy is great. It's exactly what I was thinking about as we're talking about it, because ultimately it's great if they get it, but then who's going to continue to pay for this intellectual property all of a sudden if it's given to everybody for free? So it could be incredibly disruptive, but it could also work counterintuitively.
Matt, the pace at which this company's been expanding, I mean, they quickly branched into 10 more markets after New York: Atlanta, Dallas, Boston, Detroit, Miami. They've got more expansion planned. They really look like they're trying to take over here.
Well, VC companies are betting on it. They're betting on the Supreme Court case. They're big gamblers. They go for home runs. If the Supreme Court allows Aereo to continue, then they're going to get a handsome payback, the VCs. If not, then it'll be another risk that didn't work. So ultimately, we'll see what happens. I do think the Supreme Court will vote against this, because I think intellectual property and copyright is a huge part of this country, and I think that they are essentially redistributing something without consent.
All right, Scott.
This is why there's so much money in the VC world, in the high-tech sector right now, because disruptive technologies that can come out this way literally can change the way we think about any of the media, finance, et cetera. So that's why we're going to see billions of dollars continue to go into the tech sector.
For sure.
All right, Scott, no more hedging. Last word to you as we wait for the Supreme Court decision to come down. What do you think happens here?
I don't think they let it go through, because, look, it's kind of like a David-Goliath battle here. I mean, you've got a lot of broadcast companies that have a lot of power in Washington versus this Aereo company, which is a very cool idea, but I don't think they win this fight.
All right. Thank you. I want to thank Matt Britton and Jeff Taylor and Scott Martin.
Thank you.
Feisty conversation.